We found a special 1984 Camaro sitting in this barn for the last 10 years, and we had to drive 2.5 hours into the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania to pick it up. So we wanted to show you a little bit of the journey we took to get it because it was absolutely beautiful. Check this out. Being from the suburbs of Cleveland, Ohio, it's not often you get to see really cool landscapes like this. And when we hit the road to do barn finds, it's really cool to take in some of the scenery and check out the world around us. But after almost 3 hours in the car, we finally pulled up to see this beautiful big blue barn that was hiding a Z28 treasure.
Oh boy. USA 1, baby.
Oh wow, it's in the middle.
That's a 1984 Z28 Camaro. Well, it used to be glorious. Not anymore, I guess.
I love the plate.
It's been a while since we've done a V8 Camaro car. It makes it so much more exciting. It's
Oh,
actually in really good shape. I mean, aside from all the, what is up with the raccoons lately? We can't get away from these guys.
It's always raccoons that leave their paw prints everywhere. Or maybe a cat, but I think these look like raccoon prints to me.
Oh, I almost fell into the Chevelle SS front end.
I think it's another Camaro.
Is it a Camaro?
I think so.
Oh no, you're right. There's a Camaro.
Yeah, it's a Camaro SS front end.
Dang. We got 1.5 Camaros in this garage.
Yeah. Well, that's the rest of it.
Never mind. Can you believe that you drove here 10 years ago to put all this quality dirt on here, Mike?
Dude.
That's nuts.
Good thinking me 10 years ago.
Oh, dude, the seats inside are sweet.
Yeah, it's a T-top car, too.
It is a T-top car, which makes it much easier for us to do.
Stop it.
Aren't those sweet?
Those are sick.
You guys.
Those seats are seriously, those might be the coolest Camaro seats I've ever seen.
Dude.
Like, really.
They're super cool.
I can't
you
wait
can't see
for
it right now because of all the dust in there, but
I can't wait for them to see it. And they look like they're in, like, seriously great condition, too.
I feel like this car might be a good candidate to get running, or at least try and start.
Well, it depends. We'll talk to the owner and see how long it's been sitting and, you know, what condition it was parked in.
That's true. I guess we should probably go get him and get the backstory. So we're here with the owner, Rowdy, which is the best name for a Camaro owner I've ever heard. This car is freaking sweet. I even peeked inside and saw some of the coolest Camaro seats I've ever seen.
I've not been inside of it in 10 years, so.
Oh. Why was it parked?
It was stolen. Give you the backstory, I bought it in 1988. It was my high school ride, first job ride. Then it got stolen in front of my parents' house and ended up in Pittsburgh. Between it being stolen and it being recovered, I bought another car. So I just parked it. And there's one thing my dad always told me, never get rid of your toys. So here's one of my toys.
Well, especially one from high school, you know, your high school ride.
Absolutely.
I wish I still had the first car I ever bought. I bought a Subaru, one of the little, you know, tuner cars. And I love that car and sold it. And there's been a couple times I've been in other ones. I'm like, man, I wish I would just held on to it. So kudos to you for holding on to this one.
Thank you.
What are the odds that after we clean this thing up, we can get it to run?
I think it'll run.
Really?
Yes.
With minimal work?
With minimal work.
Do we have your permission to try?
Sure, if you'd like.
All right, we'll make sure we go through all the, I mean, we're probably not gonna be doing any donuts in it.
Yeah,
the goal
well,
is to...
no, it'll run. Actually, second gear is kind of missing in it.
Oh boy.
It's an automatic.
Yeah.
But it'll shift over and get into third if you wanted to.
Okay.
If I knew what was wrong with it, I'd have fixed it by now.
We'll try and just get it to make some car noises.
Sounds good.
And get the first start in, what was the last time it was started?
10 years
Probably
now.
when I drove in here?
I drove it in the barn.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I guess before we even get into the trailer though, we do a little bit of work to do here.
Lawn equipment to move. The old Belarus. We'll try to get it.
That thing's pretty sweet too. Well, cool. I guess we better get to work then.
All right.
So as we get this barn unloaded and the car pulled out, I think it's time to ask the question of the video, so leave your answers in the comments below. I asked this same question for both the Corvettes that we just recently did and the Mustangs that we do, so I want to ask it for Camaros as well. For all of you Camaro enjoyers out there, what is your favorite year of the Camaro? And if there's a specific spec of the Camaro, what is your favorite and why? Leave a comment below. I'm curious what you guys like the most.
You weighed down the car so much
I need your big muscles, Brent.
that you can't close the door. Good job.
Can you not hurt my feelings and close the door, Brent?
It might be time to get on the Stairmaster again.
Yes, get!
RJ, we have a separate problem though.
What?
Look under the car.
Whoa, that's not a side exit. Oh! Eesh.
What happened?
The exhaust has left the chat.
I think it fell off the... Oh no, this is it is rusted.
It's straight piped now.
This thing's gonna sound like a lawnmower when it turns on. All right, so we have the Z28 back at the shop, and my first impression is this thing's pretty cool. I actually was doing a little bit of research on the Z28s, and we get really excited when we find, you know, the higher trim packages of some icons, especially like the Camaro. So when we found the Z28, we were like, that's freaking awesome. We're still waiting on a coveted IROC. So if you have one, let us know, email us here and send us what you got. We've been wanting to do an IROC for a long time now, but I'm not gonna complain about finding a Z28, but I didn't know that these actually weren't that rare for that time period. Apparently out of the 260-ish thousand Camaros that they made, that Chevrolet made in 1984, 100,000 of them and change were Z28s, and they sold 100,000 Camaros that year. During that time, apparently it was one of Motor Trend's top 12 cars of the year. It was a pretty hot commodity back then. Some of my favorite things about this car is obviously you have the twin mirrored hood scoop vents. I thought that I think these come out to allow airflow, but I could be wrong. I love the body lines, the colored body lines, which actually match the interior, which is a nice touch. You got this valance underneath, this front lip, and then you have this sweet plate that is aftermarket, of course, from Rowdy himself. But this car actually wasn't all that rowdy. It only had a 5-liter high output V8, but it only makes like 190 horsepower and 200 torque, so kind of sluggish and not that rowdy. And then, of course, you got the sick T-tops, which is really cool for when the sun's out and your buns are out. Looks like someone had been drawing on the back glass, which is nice because when you draw in dirt on paint with your finger, you do end up scratching the substrate, the paint underneath. So it's nice that they did on the glass. Hopefully they didn't scratch the glass, but the glass is pretty strong. I doubt they did, but I'm gonna try and read what this says. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it says, "Make me run." Frowny. So we're gonna try and do just that at the end of this video. So stick around for that. Fingers crossed we can get it to run. The exhaust did fall off, so it's gonna sound ridiculous. And it looks like somebody else was here 8/23 of 2020. That was the last time someone was trying to convince Rowdy to get this car to run. 4 years ago, almost a month. As we move over to the wheels, we have the iconic Camaro 5-spoke wheel. There's definitely a name for it, but I'm too young to remember it. If there's a specific name, because I think there is, if there's a specific name that you guys know that these wheels are called, drop it in the comments below, because I was not born during this time, so I have no recollection of that. But we also have these cool Z28 center caps, which I think really tie up the wheel nicely. As far as cleaning goes, we're gonna have to use some pretty heavy acids because we have a lot of brake dust in the barrel, as well as some iron remover to break down all the iron deposit, as well as all the grit, grime, and grease that's stuck on those wheels. And then for the tires, we'll be using Puro all-purpose cleaner to, again, break down all the dirt and grime, and then we'll use a Brillo pad to whiten up this tire lettering. So let's get to it.
Sounds like it's not opening.
Oh man, why does this always happen?
It's broken. Oh wait, doesn't it go back? Huh? Doesn't it like go up and backwards a little bit? No, that's latched, yeah.
Oh boy, I think I got
There
it.
we go.
Oh my gosh, look at that nest, dude. I knew there was gonna be something big in there. I had a feeling. And I swear it's not because I already saw it. I promise it's not. They're totally gonna think I'm lying. But I swear to God, I felt like there was gonna be something big in there. That's huge. So obviously there is no salvaging the rest of this heat shield, but we're gonna go ahead and pop the clips out, put them all in a bag for the owner, so if he buys another one, he has all the clips to just go ahead and pop it right back in.
But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and tear this out.
Are you struggling to clean your car? Tired of all that elbow grease with pitiful results? Introducing Puro All-Purpose Cleaner HD, the all-purpose cleaner that removes dirt, poop, grease, and grime easily without the hassle. Just spray it on, let it sit for 30 seconds, and rinse or wipe away. Puro works on your tires and rubber to remove blooming and stains, 2-stage paint jobs as a pre-soak to remove tough-on dirt and grime, and even grease and soiling stains on fabric and upholstery.
For Puro, I never had enough energy to go to the gym after cleaning my car, but with how quick, safe, and easy Puro makes cleaning now, I have all the elbow grease in the world for pumping iron.
Head to PuroCarCare.com now to purchase your bottle or gallon of Puro All-Purpose Cleaner HD. And act quick as inventory is limited. Just kidding, we have plenty.
Thanks, Puro, for giving me my elbow grease and my time back. So Rowdy actually told me that this license plate bracket lights up, and you can see the wire right there. We usually take off the plates to clean behind, but this time I don't feel like doing any rewiring of old wires, so I think I'm just gonna leave it, and then we'll just pull this down and clean underneath as best we can. And hopefully, when we put power to the car to try and start it, we can see this sweet license plate cover light up.
So I know we have a lot of older generations who watch us, and I'm curious, if you guys have ever owned cars with T-tops on it, do you prefer painted ones or glass ones like this? Personally, I think the glass ones look really cool, but while driving, maybe on a hot summer day, the glass might not be as nice. So maybe one for functionality is better than the other, but which ones do you guys prefer?
All right, so like I mentioned before, we have a 5.0 liter V8 engine in the engine bay of this Z28 Camaro. And this was actually the second year that they implemented the 5 liter engine. I believe it made 190 horsepower, 200 torque. Still pretty sluggish, but people love them. And like I said, they sold over 100,000 of the Z28 models. And the Z28 is a very special designation that I just learned about. Apparently a gentleman by the name of Vince Piggins really wanted this car to run in the SCCA, which is a Sports Club Cars of America. And because a lot of cars during this time period, I believe this is the late 60s, 1967-ish, a lot of other American manufacturers, for example, the Mustang, Cougars, Firebirds, were all racing under this class, but they didn't have the engine size in order to compete. So in order to compete, they came out with the Z28 model, which gave it more horsepower, made it sportier, and allowed them to race in that class, but also made Camaro, you know, the sports car icon that it is today. So without the Z28 moniker, without that trim package, without the upgraded performance, we wouldn't think of Camaros in the way that we do today. So I thought that was really cool, and I might be messing up the history. I'm not a historian when it comes to cars, but I'm trying my best. So if there's anything I missed in that, please drop it down in the comments below. We don't know everything, and we're happy to learn from all of you intelligent people that watch our videos. But anyways, now we're about to clean the engine bay, and we already vacuumed it out some, but I have a feeling that there's gonna be something hiding underneath the airbox here. So sometimes these seals do a good job at, well, sealing. So hopefully it looks nice and clean under there, but I have my doubts. Hey, not bad at all, actually. They were definitely running around in there. We have a bunch of mouse poopies all in here and probably some more in there, so. Oh, well, that's why we take the airbox off. That's quite a nest that's stuffed in there. Thankfully, the filter didn't allow them to get to the actual carburetor, but
Looks like an elephant.
that's more like a horse. Really do a pretty deep cleaning on there, but this whole thing is packed. You can see on the other side, that's packed like a sausage. There we go.
And now for the rest of the engine, we're gonna cover the carburetor first with a plastic baggie and a rubber band. That way no water gets down in there, and then we're gonna use a pressure washer to spray everything away. Use our Puro all-purpose cleaner as a degreaser, some brushes, and spray it away again, and then use a leaf blower to blow out any extra water to make sure it doesn't sit on the engine.
All right, so the engine bay is all clean, and we do wanna try and get this car started. So I'm gonna go and hand turn the engine, and hopefully it's not locked up. But of course I have to put my sweet glasses on before I go underneath so I don't get any leftover degreaser or water dripping down from the engine right into my eyelid. Ready? Oh boy, oh, it doesn't feel great.
It's moving though.
It is moving, but it does not feel nice. Feels like I'm hoping that's just surface rust. Oh, it's going. Okay. All these purple streaks that you see on the car, that's actually iron that should be being pulled out of the paint when you drive a vehicle. Your brakes and other cars' brakes and the road in general has a lot of iron particulates, and they get stuck in the clear coat, and then those little iron dots that you see on your car is actually iron particles that have rusted in the clear coat. And so we use an iron remover to remove them, and then we use a clay to agitate the iron remover on the paint to remove them more efficiently. But in this case, this vehicle has all this damage, all this paint damage, where it's like textured rust on the top of the clear coat, which always baffles me because I don't know how that happens. I've seen a lot of American cars that are stored in moist areas, but I don't know why that happens because it's not uniform. So I don't think it's the body work. I don't think that these doors have been repainted. If you know, let me know in the comments below, because I have no idea, and I've worked on so many of these cars at this point that I'd really like to know.
Onto the interior of this 84 Camaro. It is quite interesting, especially starting with these seats. These are called contour seats. So this was like a specific option that you can get in the 80s, and I absolutely love them. They have so much character. They're also on the doors, you can see matching here. Feels so 80s, it makes it so vibrant. Another interesting aspect that I was sitting in this interior and I noticed that I don't think I've ever noticed on any other interior is how everything is methodically bolted in. Here, 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 here. Everything's bolted in. If you could swing to the door, like, I don't know, it feels like kind of like a, I don't even know how to describe it, like a kit car type of thing. Like anybody could just bolt this thing right together, like a Lego. Kind of weird. I've never seen that in any other car except for this one. I mean, we've done Camaros before. I guess I never really noticed it, but on this one, it's like really shouting out at me. Something else really interesting on the speedometer here is as you drive, it's going up in miles per hour, but also on the flip side, it's going in kilometers. I've never seen that in any other production car either. I mean, I've same it where you can switch them, but I've never seen them both go at the same time on a different scale like that. I think that's really interesting.
And again, it only goes up to 85.
Well, yeah, because it was at the same similar time to the other Corvette. What year was that? It was 82, yeah, because the other ones were 78, so that was the 82. So that was the same time when they made all these cars. Another thing on a lot of 80s muscle cars especially will be T-tops, which I absolutely love. I think more companies need to bring this type of thing back because it's just such a fun aspect to the car. I do have one question though. I saw this and I'm not sure what this would hold. It looks like it is from the factory, but it's huge. So maybe this was like old school garage openers when they were like really big. You'd shove that bad boy in there.
Or your glasses.
I guess maybe, but it just seems, I don't know if they'd fit right in there. Anyways, as you guys can see, this interior is super dirty, in dire need of help. We're gonna start with removing the seats and then vacuuming. Yeah, they liked candy. Some old school Twix wrapper, it looks like. This guy liked Big Red, as did I. So I grew up in the 90s and I think that this was like super popular in the 90s. I don't really see it nowadays. Do you guys think this is as popular as it used to be, or is it kind of fallen off? And we got this Twix guy on here. This is an old wrapper. I don't remember it ever looking like this. Oh, wow. Dude, this is best before April 89. This has been in here for a while.
It's kind of crazy that we found a candy wrapper dated 6 years before I was even born. But anyways, we're going to start vacuuming up all the carpet and get all of that cleaned up. Now I want you guys to pay close attention to this part because you could have these same results on your floor mats at home. Floor mats are really easy to clean. All you realistically need is a vacuum, some all-purpose cleaner, and a microfiber towel, but we have access to some higher end stuff. But for one this bad, what we're gonna do is vacuum it out and then use our Tornador to blow out all the extra dirt. And then the only all-purpose cleaner you need is Puro, so you're gonna spray it onto the mat. And if you don't have an extractor at home, you can just use a microfiber towel to agitate it into the carpet fibers and then a vacuum to suck it all away. But we use a drill brush and an extractor, and you'll see the night and day difference that Puro makes on floor mats. I highly recommend giving it a try on yours. And we're also going to do pretty much the same process for the rest of the interior using our all-purpose cleaner. And I believe this is the T-top cover. We're gonna clean this up as well, front and back, while it's out of the car. Last thing we need Rowdy doing is touching a moldy steering wheel. Let's get that cleaned up.
All right, you guys know what time it is. The Camaro is all washed, decontaminated, and ready for polishing. So of course I'm gonna take a look at the paint before I start. And initially, I didn't think this was repainted, but I don't know what I was thinking because there is a lot of body work and rust spots and chipping paint. So this thing was definitely repainted at some point. Also inside the rockers and door jambs, you can tell that there's a tape line. So unfortunately this thing has been repainted, and that makes it harder a lot of times for me to polish and try and make it look good again. In this case, the paint is far from perfect. The body's far from perfect. So I'm not gonna spend too much time rotoring and wet sanding and trying to make it pristine and perfect. I think I'm just gonna go with a light one-step polish just to remove the oxidation, bring back some of the color and luster and shine of the car. And you know, I'm looking for about 50% better here, and I think I'm gonna get it.
And to finish up the detail, we tried a new tire dressing applicator, which we liked a lot, applied a ceramic sealant, and we were good to go. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure you like it. It really helps us out. And watch till the end because we tried to get this bad boy running.
All right, so now the detail's all finished up. We're gonna try to get this bad boy started. First thing I need to do is check the oil, make sure we have some. And it's right over here. I don't know if that's overfilled like crazy or what. Let me do that again. So it is actually over here. There's just some residual oil right there. So it's actually full of oil and it doesn't look too awful. It does need to be changed though. And we'll see if it has some coolant. I think there isn't any in here. What the? Made in Canada. GM, you got some explaining to do. We've got coolant in here. It's green. I'm not even sure if that's the right color, but it's full. We should be good to go. I'm trying to start it. RJ, you have the keys?
I got the keys.
All right, go ahead and just click it to the on position, make sure the electrical works.
Is it on?
Did you flick the little switch on the left?
Yes.
Dang.
Doesn't work? Oh wait.
It does work.
Holy smokes.
What? I've never seen one like that.
That's so cool.
That is definitely some
All right, I'm intrigued.
early 90s looking stuff, dude. That is not, I've never
my
seen
God.
anything like that.
The only thing that would make it cooler is if it flashed red, white, blue. Red,
Oh
white,
yeah, that would be sick.
That'd be
Around
what
the
would make
USA.
it cooler.
RJ, if you wanted to give it a couple rolls over, crank it a little bit. Hold it for a little bit more. All right, stop. That actually sounded not bad to me. Let's try to crank it up. I'm gonna try it first. Give it gas.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that doesn't work, bro. The carb doesn't open up.
Maybe it's a little gummed up. Spray some fluid on it.
It's definitely a little gummed up. I mean, I'm moving it by finger fairly easily, but it's almost like it's disconnected. Like this is trying to move it. All right. Yeah, the issue that we're having, it'll start up, but this carb needs to be rebuilt.
Open sesame. She sounds nice without the exhaust. All right, so unfortunately this thing probably needs a full carb rebuild as well as a bit of paint and I'm sure some other maintenance. And I believe that's all gonna be done by Rowdy's brother Mongo, who has a garage. So he'll be handling the restoration after this. But after we got this thing cleaned up, I ended up liking it a lot more than I initially thought. And if you ended up liking this video more than you initially thought, hit subscribe to see more like it. And if you want to help this video reach more people, we'd appreciate you hitting the thumbs up button. You guys should definitely stay tuned because we found another pretty classic Americana truck over in another barn over by Rowdy. So definitely stay tuned to that. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.